Welcome into the greatest coach of all time debate. This is going to be the Andy Reid versus Bill Belichick versus battle. Now, before we begin, we can't exclude all of their highlights. You cannot take away what Bill Belichick has done, winning 7 Super Bowls with Tom Brady. That will automatically give him the GOAT status, especially since Andy Reid only has 2. But what happens if Andy Reid gets to say 4, 5, or 6 Super Bowl wins with Pat Mahomes? Then we have to start looking at what they've done without their Hall of Fame GOAT status quarterbacks with Mahomes and Tom Brady. If we look at Bill Belichick's record without Tom Brady, it is 79-88. It's almost a decade worth of teams and games with a sub 500 record. He has a total of 1 playoff win without Tom Brady and a grand total of 3 playoff appearances out of the 10 years. It's an unbelievable bad record. There's absolutely nothing on his resume that does not include Tom Brady. Now, saying that, some people are going to immediately say, what about when he won a Super Bowl with the Giants as a defensive coordinator? Well, we're not counting defensive coordinator Super Bowls because you're not going to mention Andy Reid's Super Bowl when he wasn't a head coach. And let's also not forget that when he won that Super Bowl with the Giants, he did it underneath Bill Parcells, a legendary defensive coach in his own self, and an all-time great defensive player in Lawrence Taylor. It's not even really debatable who's better than Lawrence Taylor. So I try not to give him credit for defensive coordinators that he didn't get. So now playoff wins. The 1 playoff win he does have, he also did it in Cleveland, which should count as 2, but he did it with a pro quarterback that was already a Pro Bowl cornerback with Bernie Kosar. So it's not even something that you really tip your hat off, or should, to Bill, besides making the Browns to the playoffs. And then let's dig into the coaching tree. If you look at Belichick's coaching tree, you see guys like Vrabel, Brian Daboll, Mike McCarthy, and Dan Campbell, which are all okay coaches. But then you see guys like Bill O'Brien, Matt Patricia, Josh McDaniels, Romeo Crennel, Todd Haley, Vance Joseph, Matt LaFleur, just all these garbage head coaches. And now let's take a look at what Andy Reid did before Mahomes. It's kind of wild. His record is 173 and 114, a 66% winning percentage. That is nearly 20% more than what Bill Belichick had. Andy Reid also had 5 NFC championship appearances, 4 of them consecutive. He's been to a Super Bowl without Mahomes, something Bill Belichick has never sniffed without Tom Brady. There's all sorts of things. You can look at his coaching tree when you see guys like John Harbaugh, Ron Rivera, Doug Peterson, Sean McDermott. I mean, you got a few skunkers in there like Todd Bowles maybe. And you can say Steve Spagnuolo, but, he felt as a head coach, but he's been a great defensive coordinator and has, almost as many Super Bowl rings on his hand as Belichick. So the race is coming closer, and Andy Reid has just proven that he can do it more. Out of the 19 seasons he had without Mahomes, he's only missed the playoffs, or not had a winning record 3 times out of 19 seasons. Bill Belichick is 2-10 without Tom Brady. Listen, folks, we can't exclude Tom Brady from Bill Belichick's success. But we know that Tom Brady has been absolutely successful without Bill Belichick. He has a ring without Bill Belichick. Belichick doesn't have a ring without Brady. Brady has more playoff wins without Belichick than Belichick has without Brady. The difference is Brady had 2 years without Belichick, and Belichick had 10 years without Brady. This is clearly showing that Brady was Captain Save-A-Guy. If you look at some of the Super Bowls, like the Panthers, the Seahawks, and the Falcons, he bailed Belichick out of those Super Bowls. So the credit should really go to Tom Brady for a lot of those Super Bowls and a lot of the victories for the Patriots. But again, we can't exclude Mahomes and we can't exclude Tom Brady from their records. So as right now, I'm going to lean Bill Belichick. But don't get it mistaken. I believe if Andy Reid gets to 5 rings, we need to crown him as the GOAT. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Let me know what you're thinking in the comments. And check out our weekly live podcast every Wednesday night at 10:30 Eastern, 9:30 Central. Bold Predictions Podcast.